Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, I am Helena. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. And today is, first of all, it's a fabulous day because the weather and it is beautiful out. But not only that, this is a very, very popular and business-related webinar. And we do these webinars pretty much every week right now. The Greater New York Chamber's mantra is to help you grow your business. So we have MWBE certification. Very excited to have Jenny speak to us about this. There is going to be a presentation. We have a Q&A afterwards. We know that there's going to be a lot of question and answers. We have a chat going on. Make sure you put your information in the chat, but do not put personal information. We don't want EIN numbers or anything like that about your application or things like that. However, we can, Jenny can answer, general questions. So I will be monitoring the chat. This is being recorded. I will get a copy of the presentation as long as you RSVP'd to our website, chamber.nyc. You can email me, Helena@chamber.nyc, to request it. So right now, I just wanted to say we are really excited about this opportunity to have this presentation. It generates jobs. We're really generating jobs, promotes the economy, promotes people spending money, keeping the Metro New York area viable. So we're really excited about this. Jenny Lowe from the Empire State Development, thank you so much for hosting this and providing this very important information. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone. First, happy Women's History Month. I couldn't find a better way to celebrate than with you, Helena, and the colleagues who are joining us today. I have the privilege of joining Helena at this session to share with you information about the New York State MWBE program and the process of applying for certification with the state of New York. So I'm going to share my screen with the presentation. I will go through the presentation and then take questions later after the presentation. Okay, so I hope you all can see the slide, and if it's not advancing, please let Helena know so I can try to make sure that it works. Sometimes technology is great, but sometimes it's just not working when you want it to. So on the screen, you're seeing a first slide that says MYS MWBE certification made easy. You should see the agenda for the day. Want to make sure that you're seeing the agenda. Wanted to give you some information about what the program is and what are the benefits, and give you a high-level review of the application process and the type of applications, and we'll go into a little more deeper in what we call the ABCs of certification, and then about submitting your application and what some of the commonly made mistakes that can happen, and additional resources and assistance that's available to you. So I hope everyone is seeing the agenda. So I'm going to advance to the next slide. So the Division of Minority and Women's Business Development in Empire State Development, we are the division that runs the MWBE program for New York State. And the purpose of this program that's been set up by a set of legislation passed by the state legislature since about 37 years ago. The goal of this program is to promote equality in the economic activities in the state of New York by also remedying past discriminations and disparity that have been faced by minority-owned business and women-owned businesses. And the state wants to do this by using the state's purchasing power to provide opportunities for these for minority and women-owned businesses. So the state wants to make sure that we spend some of the the purchases with minority and women-owned firm. And at the moment, the state's goal is 30%. So all the state eligible purchases of goods and services has a goal of spending 30% with minority and women-owned firms. And our division is the team that runs the program by start with certifying the entities that are minority women-owned businesses. Then we help provide assistance and training on how to navigate the state's contracting process. And we also work with the agencies and authorities and projects that have state funding to help them meet the goal that the state has set up for this purpose. And our division is run by none other than Jason Clark, who is very passionate about this program. And he has been leading this division for almost 2 years. And we have turned the division around from what had been really a difficult process for the firms who are looking for to apply, and I will talk a little more about that. So what we want to do is, and I think I really talk about this slide. I hope the slide is advancing for the audience to see. I will move on to the next slide.
Yeah, we're good. We're good, Jenny.
Okay, great. So why do we certify, right? I'm a minority, I'm a woman, I own a business, so isn't that good enough? Well, as with anything, we want to make sure that we certify firms to make sure that they are validated as a truly a firm that is owned by and run by a minority or women owner. We want to maintain the integrity of the program and want to provide a stamp of approval for the firms that are applying for certification. And of course, with any program that we have, we want to make sure that there's no fraud or any abuse of a program that is geared up to provide support for a group, a segment of our population that have faced discrimination and disparity. And of course, our division is to set up to also track the spend and help the agencies meet the goal. What are the benefits? Why do I want to get certified? Right? Once a firm is certified, you will be in the state certified minority and women-owned business directory. Right now, it has over 9,000 firms in the directory. You will be able to access, provide for firms who are looking for your work and what you can do or the product that you sell would be able to access you in this directory. And we also provide opportunities. The Empire State Development also have opportunity for financing that helps all small businesses, including minority and women-owned businesses. And we would be able to provide you with support seeking business from the state. And of course, for the state, as Helena mentioned earlier, firms that are doing work in this MWBE program really helps to generate business opportunity for the firms, but at the same time, it also generates job opportunities for residents of New York State. And New York State is actually the leading state in the MWBE program. We currently have been, while we have a goal of 30% spent with minority and women-owned firms, the state in the last few years has been able to surpass that goal and currently at over 32% of our spend has been spent with minority and women-owned businesses. And once you're in the directory, you're recognized as such. And of course, we are the leading best practices across the nation among states. So what is the application process? There are 3 general steps in terms of applying for getting ready to get certified. So on our website, we have a tool called assessment tool for you to see if your firm is ready to get certified. So the information that we look at in sort of 3 spaces is we first look at all the documents that you submit and see if they are complete. Then we conduct the compliance review according to the law, Executive Law Article 15A, and is promulgated with rules and regulation under a section called Title V, and then we make the final decision. And this is just a little more information about what we do when we review the application process. So to submit an application, we definitely encourage all to submit it online, so that makes it easier for us to review your the material that you submit to us. And it is in the website called listed here. It's called New York State Contract System. What are the types of applications? And so in order for someone, they are based on the individual owner who is 51% or more owner of the business, you can apply for a minority business application. You can apply for a women business application, or both. So I'm a minority and I'm a woman. So when I apply, I would be able to click both MBE and WBE certification, and it's reviewed at the same time. And for someone who is a minority but not a woman, they would only apply for the MBE certification. There are different application process that we also collaborate with other certifying entities. Just want to clarify one thing: the state level has our own certification process. The city have their own certification process, and the federal government have their own certification process. And the federal government's certification process is not race-based. It is called an 8A certification. Basically, is for small businesses. And this federal government also have a disadvantaged business enterprise certification as well. Again, not race-based, but just general small business and disadvantaged businesses. What are the I'm going to go deeper into a little bit of the review process. So we have this ABC of certification. So the A represents on the left column that is about the applicant, the owner of the business. So in order for one to be certified with either MBE, WBE, or MNWBE, the owner whom we rely on to make the determination has to own 51% or more of the business, and their net worth has a cap of $15 million, and they must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. That is A, the applicant, the person who owns the business. B is about the business. Any business that is looking to apply for certification, they must have authorization to do business in New York State, meaning that if you are a business from outside of New York State, meaning that you're headquartered someplace else, you can still apply for the certification program, but you first need to get an authorization to do business in New York State with the New York State's Department of State. That is in general, regardless if you're applying for certification, but if you are applying for certification, you must have the authorization to do business in New York State. So if you're a New York State-based business, you are doing business as a sole proprietor, meaning that you use your own Social Security number and you report your business's income through a Schedule C, then the authorization for you to do business in your state, you need to go to your local county clerk's office and get a business certificate from them. Now, if your business is set up with all other kind of legal entity, like a corporation, S Corp, LLC, limited partnership, or just general partnership, S Corp, you need to register with the Department of State, just like you do anyway, regardless if you're applying for certification. But when you are applying for certification, we need to see that certificate that you get from the Department of State. and your company has to be not publicly traded, a privately owned business, and you have to have been actively conducting business in New York State. And your company cannot have more than 300 employees. This MWBE program is for small businesses. So now we move on to the C. C is for control and capital contribution. So the majority owner of the business must have made capital contribution proportionate to the share of ownership that they made. For example, if you don't own your business 100% and say you own 60% and someone else owns 40%. So the total capital contribution into the business has to be proportionally split, meaning that you, the 60% owner, have to have made 60% of the capital contribution into the business, and then the remainder with the 40% with the other owner. We also have to make sure that we see that the risk and profit is also proportionally shared. What does that mean? That means, let's say your company takes out a loan from a bank. You both, again, the same 60-40% split, you both have to be, and the bank requires you to be personally guaranteeing the loan. You both have to be guarantors of the loan. You cannot just say, oh, you, the majority owner, is the only one who is guaranteeing the loan. That means you're taking on more risk than the share of your business that you own. Profit, similar. The total compensation and distribution of profit from the business have to be proportionally shared, meaning that, let's say together, your company decide to distribute, including salary, $10,000 to the two owners. You have to get 60% of that, and the other owner would get 40%. It cannot be not proportionate to your share of ownership. And as the majority owner of the business, the person whom we rely on to make the certification, you have to be able to make all the decisions, the final decision for the business. And you also have to be independently operating, meaning that you do not rely on someone else to help you run the business. And in terms of business decision, one of the commonly mistake that we see, not a mistake actually, it's really a commonly issue that we have seen, is that, let's say you're a corporation and your company bylaw has says that the board of directors have to vote unanimously to make major decisions, for example. That would not make your business eligible for certification, because your board of director, you as the majority owner, must make the final decision on all of the business decisions. So nothing wrong with the way your business is set up, but it's not eligible for this program. And you must be in control and run every aspect of the operations of your business as the person whom we rely on to make the certification. So next slide, it just goes to show you some of the documentations that we need for each of the ABCs that I just mentioned earlier. These are just samples of documentation. Each business and each application is unique, so it may not apply to all of it for your business, and there might be additional information that we need from your business for in terms of demonstrating who you are as an owner of the business. And B, we have the documentation again on the right-hand side. Again, sample documentation that we need, and they might be different in your application. And the list of sample documentations for the C part of our review, which is who controls the business. And you can see that if your business requires a license to operate, you have to have that license. Okay, so when a business goes through certification, and I mentioned earlier that once you're certified, you will be your business name, your contact information, and what your business does will be placed in our directory. So how do people find you? How does the agency or the prime contractor who is looking to meet their 30% goal, how do they find you? So they find you by a couple of ways. One is by an industry code, and the second way is by the description of your business that is also in the directory. And this information is something that you provide to us when you apply. So whatever you put into your application, once you're certified, it just gets transferred over to the directory. So it is very important for you to be thoughtful about what you do in terms of your industry code and how you describe your business so that people can find you, right? So that really has to do with what people call keyword searches, right? So the industry code that we use is NAICS. It is a set of industry code that the North American countries agree to use. And this is used widely. It's not just for certification, but for a lot of other purposes. And there's a website that gives you the coding for every type of business that exists, I suppose. And so you have, when you apply, the application actually have a link to the website where you can find the appropriate NAICS code for your business. And if your business does multiple kind of work and functions, you may list multiple codes in your application. And the other code that gets used often is called NIGP code. This has to do with mostly about purchases of goods and services. And so again, same thing, whatever applies to your business, you can list them in your application as well. So we talked about through the process of applying, I mentioned one commonly issues that we face with businesses, but there are a number of commonly made mistakes when people submit the application. The application is fairly long, and there are many boxes and many places to fill in information. The word that I would pass along from our certification team is that make sure that you go through every single box and every single place that have a spot that is required, right? For those that are optional, make sure that you include information that you want to explain what your business is, right? So attachments need to be in, and make sure you sign documents, and there are some documents that needs to be notarized, and you make sure that they are notarized. And if there's something that is asked for by the application and you don't have it, and because of unique circumstances about your business, please write an explanation and upload that explanation in the application. Among the things that I want to share here, while it's not listed on this slide, is your resume. You know, when people talk about resume, you probably have heard, many of us have heard, don't do more than 2 pages because people don't look at it. Well, it's not the same for when you are looking for certification. So when we are looking for a resume that basically describes your experience and your competence in the industry that your business operates in. So please elaborate. Our certification team usually tell me they don't mind looking at a 10-page resume as long as it describes what the owner's experience is and what they have done in the work of the business, what the firm does to generate revenue. So please tell us your story and be as explicit as you can about what you have done. So that's one word of advice that I have for you for the resume. And one thing about capital, proof of capital contribution, right? So many people start their business, and so they bought a printer, they bought a computer, they bought a desk for the business. Please keep those receipts because that represents your contribution to the business. We're not looking for how much you contribute, but just contribution to your business. we talk a lot about what you need to provide, all those things that you want to be careful with. You don't have to do this alone. There are many free business advisory services across New York State. On the list here, there are different types of business services, and they are all free. The key word is free. You do not need to pay anyone to help you prepare your application, because the folks who are listed in these, what we call technical assistant providers, they have experience. They have people who know what it takes to get certified, and they have helped many people become certified with New York State and with other jurisdictions that have certification program. So we have been collaborating with them in helping folks get certified, because they know what they're doing. They can help. They also stay with you when you work with them until you get certified. So they are basically helping you so that you can focus on your business. You may not have time to look through everything that we have. The assessment tool that I mentioned earlier online, you can peruse it on your own, just to see what it takes. But you could also have free services in these folks. And I am going to actually share with you something else that I want to, we are, I thought I can share that slide, but maybe not. We're currently working with these free services. We have been working with them since last year. We have ran 4 special certification initiatives, and we're currently on our 5th. We have recently announced that we are celebrating Women's History Month with an initiative called Women Entrepreneurs Rising. It is under this initiative, if you can go work with one of these free services, they help you prepare your application, and you submit it through April 18. We will be able to very likely provide our final decision for your application in as little as 90 days. And we are able to do that because when an application is prepared with the help of one of these free services, it is more complete. Our certification analyst team can review them much faster. So we have done this 4 times. This is the 5th time, and our average is less than 90 days. So just wanted to let you know about these services. We have, trying to get, so there are other assistance that you can get from Empire State Development besides certification for an MWBE. We have a sister division called Small Business and Technology Development. In this division, they have a number of loan programs that they work with lenders, banks, community development financial institutions, CDFIs, where we provide a lower cost capital to these lenders, and then they in turn make loans to small businesses at a lower rate than you would get in sort of more of the market rate that you may get. So when you get the slide, you can also search on our website and look for the small business division, and all the programs that all the capital access program that they provide are there for you to look at and take advantage of. So once you're certified, what happens, right? Earlier I mentioned that we have a team that helps folks navigate the state's contracting system. So we have a business development team in the division, and we have what we call business development analysts. Their names are listed here. They each cover a certain regions of New York State. So after you're certified, you can sign up on our website for a one-on-one session with one of these analysts, depending on where you are located. So for New York City and Long Island, our analyst is Doni Sorrell. So they can provide you with a one-on-one session. This team also provides twice a month webinars on different topics on how to do business with New York State. So that's the support that we provide to firms who are certified. And that ends my presentation. Thank you for listening. The contact information for our team is here. So I'm going to stop sharing and just wanted to see if I can, yeah, I'm going to stop sharing. So.
Wow, a lot of great information. We're going to do a Q&A. If you already have a New York State OGS commodity contract, how can you add minority status to the existing contract? Can you answer that?
So if your firm is currently not certified by us, you need to be certified. So I would say this advantage of the firm being certified is that you really have an additional advantage in competition, right? So if you're competing with all the firms in your line of business, but when you are certified with us, you are looking for business with the state. Your advantage is that, hey, agency person, procurement person, if you purchase from me, I can help you meet your 30% goal. So that's really what it is. So if you're currently already have contract with any state agency and you're not certified, nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get additional business under the MWBE program, you would want to be certified.
Perfect. Is there a platform or a network to be exposed to specific opportunities for minority purchasing?
So yes, all of New York State's purchases of 50 purchases, this includes goods and services, right, and projects. Anything that is $50,000 or more must be posted publicly, and the platform where we post this is called Contract Reporter. So if you if you Google and just put New York State Contract Reporter, you will be brought to our Contract Reporter site.
Okay, so they're asking a lot about the time frame and how to fast track. Is there?
Okay. So let me just say about the time frame. If those of you who know about the New York State certification process before 2023, you would probably know that it was a nightmare because it took a long time. For decades, this division was plagued by a backlog. When Governor Kathy Hochul became the governor, she put resources into this division and she cleared the backlog. So by November of 2023, the backlog was removed. So once the backlog was removed, we promised folks that if you apply, we will give you a final determination between 90 to 120 days. So more than a year later, we don't have a backlog. We get 70 to 80 applications a week, and we have been able to make decisions, final decisions on these applications below 90 days. Yes, there are those who still don't get an answer much later and closer to the 120 days, but there are also those who get certified within, say, a day or 6 hours. These are very unique, right? Just like everything else, there's a bell curve. There are those who are in the high extreme, and there are those who are on the low extreme. But just be assured that we are able to get back to folks between 90 and 120 days. And then when we run these special certification initiatives like the one that I just mentioned, Women Entrepreneur Rising, and you work with one of these free services that I mentioned earlier, generally speaking, answers for those applications are much faster because it is much more complete, and you have the guidance of a business advisor who helps you provide information to us if we need additional information.
Perfect, perfect. A couple of questions, because the Jewish community being minority just recently has been in the news. Is there a checkoff box for minority, and not only for people have been asking on the application, it does have what the minority that you're checking off on, correct?
So let me start with saying that I start earlier saying that this program, New York State's program, is governed by a set of state law. So the state law, Article 15A, with the rules and regulation under Title V, states who is considered a minority. Right now, the law states that right now, the Jewish community is not included in minority under the law as it is today. So we will follow the law if the law and when the law is changed. So right now, as we speak right now, the Jewish community is not included as a minority.
Okay. Okay, a couple of emails on that because it's been in the news. Can 51% owner have outside employment or ownership in another company is still considered in control?
As long as they can demonstrate that they run the business and that the time that requires them to devote to the business, they are able to devote to. So I'm going to give an example, right? That we would have trouble providing a certification. Let's say I have a job as a teacher. So my job and the teacher is I'm going to say from 8 to 3, right? And my business is only on the weekend. It's an evening thing. I do things on the weekend. We would be able to follow that, right? So the time that you devote to your business and the hours that you operate does not collide or conflict with the day job that you have. But if you're same situation, I'm a teacher. I work from on school days from 8 to 3, and my business is from 9 to 5. How are you going to that conflict? You have to be able to demonstrate that you have time to be at your full-time job and run your business when it's operating. So I hope that example illustrates and answers that question.
Okay. Hold on. Is there a way for each of the MWBEs at the same time, or do you have to apply for each certification in each area?
So you submit one application. For example, I'm gonna just make it very explicit here. If you're a man and you're a minority, you can only apply for minority business certification. So the MBE is what you would be able to apply for. It's the same application, you just check off the box. For example, I'm Chinese and I'm a woman. So if I apply, I would be able to check off MWBE.
Okay. If you already own an LLC, do you need it to create a new one to get certified or use it as a starting point? Do you have to be, I think you answered this, generating a minimum amount of revenue to qualify?
So I'm going to comment on that. So in order, one of the eligibility criteria is that your business has to be in business for 1 year or longer. Right? During that 1 year period, you need to demonstrate that you have actively been conducting business in New York State and you have filed tax return for the business. So we need to see both of that. That's the first thing. If you've been operating, no matter how long you've been operating, as long as there is a 51% or more owner who is a minority or qualified individual, which is minority or women, you can use that. You should apply under that business. You do not need to create a new business to apply.
You know what? Will programs like this change with the current administration?
And by administration, you mean Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I
The
guess, yeah,
federal
they're talking about
administration?
that.
Okay,
Or
assuming that's the case, right?
yeah.
So this program in New York State is governed by a set of New York State law. And the purchases of goods and services are New York State purchases and goods and services, New York State government. So our program is running strong. We have a strong foundation, solid and strong foundation in the program. So New York State continues to operate this program.
They're a New Jersey business and MWBE certified for NYC. Can they fast track for New York State?
So you saw earlier, there's a fast track application with a number of other certification entities. So the word fast track means fast for you, but not for us, right? Fast for you meaning that you can apply, you can click on the fast track application and you can upload the application that you submitted to the certifying entity. In this example, New York City. So you upload all your New York City application information and the approval letter from New York City, and we will review that. But because we're governed by different laws, we are very likely to need additional information from you. So the time that it takes for us to review doesn't reduce in that way. So you have two options. You can still apply using the fast track application. But if you want to apply during the time when we have a special certification program running, like now, it is advisable for you to work with one of these free services and submit a new application, because we will have a more complete application and we will be able to actually review it faster. So, but it's still your option.
Okay, and if you're denied, someone said that they were caught in previous application process when filing under fast track for New York State was denied. Can they reapply?
So if a business has been denied in the past, there's a 2-year waiting period.
Okay.
However, you take a look at the reasons for which you were denied, and if you are able to overcome those reasons, then you can request a waiver for the 2-year waiting period. The 2-year waiting period is really for you to regroup and remove those reasons for which you were denied in the first place. So so it is possible to apply before 2 years, but you need to apply and provide the documentation that you have overcome those reasons for which you were denied in the first place.
Got it. There's a lot about regarding the questions on being Jewish and minority, reach out to me and we will follow up on that, on where it was passed with the U.S. Department of Commerce and everything like that. Email me and then we can do a group chat because I want to also, hold on. What do you need to renew if you're already certified? Okay, she went over how to get certified by the state if you're already certified by the city. I'm just reading, I went through a lot. Any documents need someone who would, you can go to their website to apply. Okay, I applied for fast track. In July of 2024. They received notice in January 25, denied because I have a nonprofit and a for-profit business. The denial letter says that I am denied to be certified. I can still bid on contracts. Can you explain this? Can you explain that?
Okay, I'm not sure if I understand that. So let me first say that the MWBE certification program is only for for-profit businesses. So nonprofits are not eligible. That's one thing. That question is very specific and I need more context to be able to answer that.
Okay.
So yeah.
You can forward it to me and then I'll forward it to Jenny afterwards. Can you elaborate on the new, someone wants to know on the new minority classifications, how they can check if they're eligible as a minority. Is there a checklist?
So I'm going to share a link to the executive law 15A and the regulation, 2 links actually. So you can look, but the law specifies there's a section that says who is considered a minority. So I'm going to share
Perfect.
that so that you
Yeah.
can, everyone can read it. So just give me a second.
Yeah, because it's everyone is asking me like, what is considered a minority now after
So
what's
I am
been,
going to let you look at it yourself so that
yeah,
I'm not, so that you are clear on what it is, because I don't want people to think, something else
right.
with it. So give me,
Okay,
I'm going to put it in the chat. So we
perfect.
can keep going. Yeah.
Okay, what are the 3 free? Oh, you know what? People have been asking, reviewing. There are business centers that will help them guide them through the application process, correct?
Yes. And I can put the link on the chat just so that people can see it. Give me a second. I'm getting to
Perfect.
it. Yeah, I will get both. So keep going.
Okay. Okay. I'm just scrolling through because we have a lot. Okay, a lot of people. Okay. Okay, let me keep on.
Oh,
Are there 5 different MWBE certifications, local, city, state, federal? For local, city, state, federal. Oh, county, local, city, state, county, and yeah, federal, 5. Someone wants to know.
okay. So I don't think I can uh, give list all the certification entities.
Oh, okay.
So I will say that sometimes counties, meaning local municipalities, have their certification, but sometimes they don't. So sometimes they would just take the state certification, meaning our certification. Certain counties, like I'm going to say Monroe County have this, and Erie County has this. I believe Nassau County takes the New York State certification part, certificate. So, so that's what I would say. I don't know where they are. I would say if you are in, say, downstate New York, you probably want to get certified by us, by New York City, because New York City wants wants their certification. So I just don't know who else to look for. But if you have
Yeah,
questions, the best is to talk to the folks in the jurisdiction that you're interested in
exactly.
doing
Yeah,
business
there's
with.
county offices in there also. I think we are, let me see, 21. Can you please confirm in the process of bids in the construction? I know you need to have a passport account, but I'm not sure how to.
Oh, that's New York City. You're talking about, so New York City has a number of things that you need to register for. I am not familiar with it, but I have heard presentations from them. So you have to register. Passport is the way you get paid, I think, any vendor. So there's some other registration that you need to do. It's an online thing to basically identify yourself as a vendor for the city, and that's how you get paid, or something like that. But again, do not take my word for it, because I don't know the exact process, but New York City people would be able to tell you.
That's a good question. If you split of a 50-50 partnership between a minority man and a white, and a woman, what certifications would be eligible?
So you need to choose. Either the woman owns 51% or the man owns 51%. And depending on who owns the 51%, that's the certification you will be able to get.
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Same here. Okay, everyone's asking that. Okay, everyone's asking that. Is there advantage to a business that is both minority and women owned? Isn't that the same thing?
Well, there is. There's no I shouldn't say there's no advantage, but there's a distinction. So certain projects or certain contracts, they sometimes will say, depending on where it is and what the need is, sometimes they'll say 15%, we're looking for 15% spend with women-owned businesses, and sometimes and the other 15% with minority-owned businesses. So if you're MWBE, you can do either one, right? So if you're an MBE or WBE, you can only select one. Sometimes the split is different. Sometimes they'll say, oh, 20% women and the other 10% minority. I think it all depends on project by project and contract by contract. So there is some differences. I don't want to say advantage or disadvantage with either one. But
Got
if you
it.
are a minority and a woman, you should get certified for both.
If the company was registered over 10 years but did not do business in New York State, do I need to start doing business for a year before I apply? You went through that. Okay.
Yeah.
I added a DBA to my existing business. Can they still apply with the DBA?
If you have not applied before, you just apply. So if you can apply under your DBA, or I mean, I don't know how your business is exactly set up. There are often business will say XYZ company, DBA, Jenny Low. I'm just making that up. So I don't know the exact circumstances. So if you have questions about how you should apply, I would encourage you to talk to one of the free business services that I mentioned earlier. And they can advise you what is the best way, because there might be issues with your business that I don't know. And you're best to talk to one of them to give you advice.
Okay. And Jenny just put it in the chat. Everyone copy it, the links on the centers that you can ask for assistance. Just copy and paste it. If you expired in August, that they have to do the process again, correct? To get recertified.
That's a good question. So each certification is good for 5 years. So when you get certified, the letter tells you it expires in 5 years. So just like everything else in your business, it is up to you to remember to apply for recertification. You can apply for recertification 90 days before your expiration. So that's what you need to do. If your business certification expired in 2024 and you have not reapplied, you would then need to apply, but under a new application type. The recertification application only works when you are still certified.
Are there any costs associated by filling out these applications? People have been asking that.
No, do not pay. Everything is free. The key word is FREE. Free.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, any more questions? Okay. We are not able to copy the text. Sure you are. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, did you guys hold on. No, it's open to everyone. Just highlight it and copy it. Highlight it and copy it. Hold on for a second. Let me just make sure. They say they can, but I can. You guys just highlight it. Or what you can do is, if you can't highlight it, take a screenshot of it with your phone. Okay. I think that's it. What proof? Oh, that's good intro. What proof do you need to be a minority?
Every situation is slightly different. Sometimes we need, depending on what documentation you have. So we need to be able to see the ethnic background documentation. So I'm not a certification analyst. I don't know exactly which document you would need, but sometimes we need birth certificates, and it may need, some other documentation about your parents. So I would just leave that to submit the application. If that documentation isn't sufficient, we will be asking you for additional information. So I just, because everyone's situation is different.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Jenny, for putting this very informative, as you can see by the Q&A, all these questions. This is being recorded. It will be on Chamber TV probably this afternoon or tomorrow morning. If you want a copy of the presentation, just email me. I can't send it out to everyone, so just email it to me and request it, and I'll send it to you after I get it from Jenny. And also, don't forget, March 20th, a week from today, we are hosting our annual iconic Women's History Awards cocktail reception here at the Chamber down in the library from 5:30 to 7:30. We have some wonderful awardees, and it will be great networking. And we'll have people from local city, state, and federal agencies there also, because they always are definitely supportive of our events. So thank you so much, everyone, for attending. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And again, Jenny, thank you so much. We have to I'm already thinking again for maybe July or August again, because this is so important, very, very popular. There's a lot of questions that people have. And that's the reason why it's so important that these organizations, and not all of them do that. And that's why I'm so appreciative of Jenny at the Empire State Development, because they are communicating with the chamber to put this information into your hands and to get that information so you can do, make the application process and make it easier. And they want to hear the concerns so they can take it back to their constituents. So thank you again so much. Tuesdays, online networking, 10 o'clock. They're always a lot of fun. Jenny is on there a couple, if she's not busy putting on a presentation, she's on there and she gets to, have some fun and listen to the concerns of businesses. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am just an email away. And again, Jenny, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate this.
Well, thank you for having me. Keep those applications coming.
Thank you again. I'm going to end the webinar. Thank you, everyone.